Hello everybody. Today I have a process video for you featuring a photo of my grandson on his first dentist visit. It's actually a little collage that his mom put together. And there I'm showing you my Heidi Swapp September Skies paper pad. That's where all of the pattern papers for this layout are coming from. And today I decided to do something a little bit different. Normally or a lot of times I do border my layouts with a paper behind. Today I've got a border, but it's really more of an offset border. It's not just a straight border. So I'm going to go cut that. I actually measured that because it's important to have the same measurement at the top and the bottom where the paper's being offset. Normally I don't measure things most of the time. So I'm going to stick that first paper down, and I'm sorry, but I don't have any of the names of these papers, and that's because it is it's a paper pad. The other thing there, when I was putting that paper down, I was very careful that the diagonal lines were going towards the photo, not away from the photo, so that all of the flow goes from the upper left to the bottom right. That acrylic word there is from the Heidi Swapp Everyday, or the Everyday word is from the Heidi Swapp September Skies ephemera pack. It has both paper and acrylic die cuts. And I'm going to cut this little 2x2 square from, or it's not quite 2x2, but it's close, from the cut apart sheet from that paper pad. And again, it's a September Skies paper pad. I have that camera there, and I just think it's cute since, it's his first, so, we always take pictures of children in their first. That's from Heidi Swapp ephemera pack. I don't have the name on that ephemera pack, though. It's fairly old, and I didn't keep the name of it. So I'm getting everything positioned there. I want to be careful because the everyday is running off the card, and I don't want to have it look like it's just sort of hanging out in the middle of nowhere. So what I did there is I just put the camera close enough that it's going to be close to that. And there I pulled out my inks because I want to ink the edges of those things, and I was just showing you that I store at least part of my inks, my Hero Arts inks, in a cigar box. So that's Hero Arts, it's navy. And I was going to ink a few things, and then I decided to wait to get things a little bit more settled. And now I'm going through my wood veneers from the Heidi Swapp September Skies collection, and that's where that Cool Kid wood veneer is from. That's what it says up there. It says Cool Kid in the circle. And then I have like that little chevron arrow kind of thing is from that same September Skies collection. Now I'm playing a little bit with the arrows up there. I want to highlight that title that's on there. His mom, when she posted that to Facebook, put that little collage together and then put the little title on it. So that is my title, and I wanted to emphasize it. I didn't like either the sizes of the arrows that I had in the September Skies collection, so I grabbed my own box of wood veneers, and I'm kind of going through those, and I store them in like what's essentially a bead box, or for screws and that kind of stuff. It's cheaper if you go buy them in the hardware department of Walmart versus buying it at a craft store. But that's how I keep all of my wood veneers. So I'm just pulling a couple of things out that I think might work. And I'm going to futz with this for quite a bit here. I did decide that I want to go to this dentist though, because the little bib that my grandson has on is a penguin, and then his head sticks out of the penguin, or his head's by where the penguin head would be. Super, super cute. So now I'm just looking at Simple Stories, the Life Documented chipboard, just to see if I can find anything that'll fit for that, and I decide no to that, and no also to the stickers that come with the collection. They're in primary colors. These are the stickers here. They're in primary colors, so that's why I like to look at those a lot. That wood veneer arrow, by the way, I didn't tell you, that is actually a Studio Calico wood veneer arrow. And nothing in that pack either. So now I'm going to start gluing things down. And this is where it gets hard because I don't want to lift anything up too much. But I'm going to have to lift things up in just a moment because I've forgotten to do something important. And I'm kind of snugging the camera up so that it nestles in underneath that everyday acrylic word again. Again, that's because I want it to, I don't want the everyday to look like it's just hanging out there in the middle of nowhere. And I am going to put this flat on the page, and this is when I realize, oops, I didn't ink anything. And I have quite a few things already glued down. So I'm going to try my best not to have to take anything up. And being careful not to get ink on those things that are already glued down. So that wasn't too bad, and now I can ink the edges of this because I hadn't glued it down yet. Now I like the little bit of dimension and shadow and emphasis that the ink gives to the edges of pages. I don't ink all of my pages, but I do ink them quite often, especially when I'm using papers from different manufacturers or different paper collections. It really helps bring the look of those together. Now, since this is all from the same paper collection, it's not as important, but I really wanted to give definition to that blue piece of paper to separate that off the very bold diagonal striped paper in the multi-rainbow colors. So that's why I chose to do that with this one. It also even helps the rainbow pattern paper separate itself a little bit from that navy paper behind, even though the ink and the background paper are both navy. It really does give just that little bit of extra dimension. The other thing, because it's a paper pad, it's cheaper paper, and that white core can kind of show through even easier. So it is nice with paper pads if you ink them as well, just because you'll refine your edges a little bit, I guess. Makes it look a little bit more professional. Okay. So now I have that everyday down, and what I did with that is I do have, or I'm going to put it down, I have vellum adhesive, and they're just sheets of glue dot vellum adhesive, and I realized that one was mostly used, so I pulled up another one. Then you just kind of kiss the word up against it, and the adhesive then will come with it, and then you don't see the adhesive on the word. Now, if the item that you're trying to adhere is a little bit heavier, I wouldn't suggest using this kind of adhesive, because even sometimes with the acrylic words like I have there, it doesn't adhere all that well. So in those cases, what I do is I try to hide a glue dot somewhere in this script. Sometimes successful, sometimes not. And now I've got the Cool Kid wood veneer again. And I'm playing a little bit with the adhering that chevron wood veneer there. I'm also looking at this because something's bothering me. The everyday doesn't look like it's hanging out, but to me the camera looks like it's just hanging off the layout there, off that edge of the layout. And that's really bothering me. So I'm going to fix that in just a little bit. And now I'm playing again with the wood veneers because I decided I didn't like that other wood veneer. So I'm going back again. And I believe, oops. See, I'm still playing. Those arrows were bothering me. I think what was really bothering me was, I don't know, it didn't seem like it had enough emphasis up there. The arrow seemed to be getting lost on the photograph. So I'm going to do something that helps that a little bit as well when I ground the camera. So I have my fine line bottle there with my Scotch Quick Dry in it. I've said this for quite a few videos, but if you're having problems getting the glue out of the fine line bottle, the Scotch Quick Dry adhesive, especially because that is the smallest gauge, which I believe is 20 of the bottles that they sell, just put a few drops of water in it and mix it, and you should have no problems after that. I think I've had mine like that for about a year. Now I'm making sure that that die cut or the wood veneer is stuck down really well, because it is a wood veneer and that's a pretty big piece to be kind of floating around if the layout moves. And I'm going to stick that arrow down. And now I'm going to fight with that bottle a little bit, as I always do. It's really hard to see the opening in that really fine nozzle. Going down a little bit more of the paper there where it was coming up. Well, it wasn't coming up, I hadn't glued it down yet. And now I think I know what I want to do with that camera. I'm going to take some Bella Boulevard washi. It's in the color Pickle Juice. This may have been in an assortment pack. I live very close to the city that Bella Boulevard is based out of, and they did a warehouse sale a couple of years ago, and I went to that warehouse sale and got quite a few packs of washi tape, but it was a combination of things. The other thing I'm doing is I'm making sure that that washi tape, and I'm going to fight with this a little bit, extends beyond the border of the blue paper, just so the camera doesn't look like it is laying out in the middle of the page with no support. So I'm making a shelf for it, would be the best way to describe it. But I'm also trying to tuck all of this under other things that already exist, which make it a little bit hard. What I'm doing here, when I have a hard time lifting things up or things off, stickers off, those kinds of things, I grab my Cricut spatula. It does a really nice job of taking stickers up. I'm a massage therapist, so my fingernails are not very long at all, except actually they're very, very short, so it's hard for me to use a fingernail to pick those up when they're not existent. Okay, now I'm trying to figure out, I want to have the washi tape in more than just that location, and I'm thinking 3 locations would be good, but I don't really have 3 clusters. It's sort of a main cluster over there with the journaling spot, so I'm kind of looking what to do. And then I'm going to eventually, the everyday needed to come back up and move, because in moving the other things I move that. But eventually what I'm going to realize is that I can ground that arrow a little bit better if I put the tape down. And so my fine line bottle will come out again. And now I'm holding the arrow down and getting my tape came up a little bit there at the edges just because I had handled it quite a bit, so I just popped the bit of the Scotch Quick Dry on there. The Bella Boulevard tape, once you put it down, if you have to pick it back up, it doesn't stick all that well again. So a lot of times I'll just pop a little extra adhesive in there. So I am going to journal, and oops, I forgot that I didn't put the tape anywhere else. I did end up putting a little green arrow underneath the chevron arrow, an acrylic arrow. So I think you will see that in the stills if I remember correctly. So I'm just doing a little bit of journaling to my grandson about his first dentist visit, and I'm just about done. There's a still shot and some detail shots following. Hope you all have a great day. Bye!